They are probably the most famous words of Jesus. As he hung on the cross, Matthew 27 records, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And religion will get these famous words of Jesus, pull them out of context, and try to tell us that Jesus was literally and in reality forsaken by God. Not at all. Father did not turn his back on Jesus, not for 1 second. Let's have a look at that statement in context. Those words come from a famous psalm, Psalm 22. It's a messianic psalm. And if you read it, as we will now, Jesus quotes from this psalm all the way through. The crucifixion narrative is based on Psalm 22, as we will see. And that question is verse 1 of chapter 22. My God, why have you forsaken me?" That's verse 1. The psalmist raises the question, why have you forsaken me? But then as we go through the storyline of the psalm, we find that it ends up saying, he did not forsake him. It was common in the Jewish synagogue of a Sabbath for the Jews to sing songs from the Psalms. The Psalms were songs. The word psalm means song in Hebrew and in Greek. Let's go back to Psalm 22, and I'll prove this to you from the text, that the Psalms are songs. I'm reading from Psalm 22, and in that psalm we've got a chapter heading that's part of the Hebrew text. Listen to this. Psalm 22:1, chapter heading, which is part of the Bible, "Why have you forsaken me?" To the choir master, according to the doe of the dawn, a psalm of David. My God, why have you forsaken me?" There you go. Put to the music of the doe of the dawn, it's a song. Jesus hangs on the cross. He's singing the song. He's singing the song of Psalm 22, verse 1. In Jewish times, when they sang the first line of a song, everyone knew what the whole song was about. So the whole context of the song is brought to mind when the first line is sung. Like children, Mary had a... You know the rest, and you know the story. This is how the psalms, the songs, operated in the Jewish synagogue. When Jesus started singing on the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me?" We are meant to understand the lyric and content of the words of the whole of Psalm 22. So let's read the context of Psalm 22. And let's just see if it was true that Father turned his back on Jesus. Are you ready? Let's go. Look at the lyrics of the psalm in Psalm 22. Look at the storyline. You will find this is the whole crucifixion story here. Psalm 22 verse 7 says this: "All who seek me mock me. They make mouths at me. They wag their heads." That's what happened at the cross. They mocked Jesus. They wagged their heads. Verse 8. "He trusts in the Lord. Let him deliver him. Let him rescue him, for he delights in him." Remember when they were mocking Jesus? That's what they said. You see the crucifixion story? Look at verse 16. "They pierced my hands and my feet." The whole crucifixion narrative is based on Psalm 22. Verse 18, "They divide my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots." That's exactly what happened. This is a messianic psalm about the death of Jesus. So you can see the unfolding story in this song that Jesus is singing. And then when we come to the end of the psalm, verse 24, the question raised at the beginning of the psalm, my God, why have you forsaken me?" It's a question. is answered in verse 24. And look what the answer says at the end of the story. For he has not despised or abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, and he has not hidden his face from him, but he has heard when he cried to him. Boom! When Jesus sung that song, my God, why have you forsaken me? The first line of the song, they all knew the storyline. He felt forsaken, but he was not. Father did not forsake Jesus, but he felt it. We all feel forsaken by God at times. And Jesus felt like that too. But Jesus knew the words of this song. And we are meant to take in the whole story of the lyrics of that song. I feel forsaken. I heard your cry. He was not forsaken by God. And the New Testament makes it very clear the Father didn't abandon Jesus on the cross, because we read in 2 Corinthians 5:14 and 19 the following words. If one died for all died. Verse 19, for God was in Christ reconciling the world to himself. Father was on the cross with Jesus. When one died for all, God was in Christ reconciling the world to himself. But yes, Jesus felt it, but it wasn't reality. We all feel forsaken by God at times. And Jesus connected with our pain. But the truth was, the Father heard him. He did not abandon him. And he hears our cries. And he doesn't abandon us. So this verse is not talking about Father lumping and dumping the sins of the world onto Jesus, then punishing him, then turning his back on him and abandoning him. Not at all. He felt that way, but not in reality. God bless you.